Hello beautiful, my name is Anastasia and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be having you guys come along with me to make some dinner. Now, I'm so excited and proud of this dinner because this was the second time that I've ever made pie crust, and honestly, I think I did a great job. My husband loved it and it was really flaky. Like, a buttery, flaky crust, like that one TikTok. Anyways, whatever. If you are new to my channel, I do homemaking content, recipes, vlogs, things like that. So if that interests you, then definitely follow along. I'd love to have you a part of the club. But with that being said, let's get right into the content. The ingredients for the pie crust are flour. I'm using bread flour because that's all I have. Grass-fed butter, salt, and some maple syrup instead of sugar, and water. I'm first starting with my food processor, and I am putting in some flour, 1.5 cups. Then I'm putting in about 1.5 tablespoons of maple syrup instead of sugar. Some salt, and then I'm going to pulse this just 5 times quickly. After that, I put water in, and it has to be ice cold water. I should have added it second after the butter, but I added it first on accident. You pulse it a few times. Then I took some butter and I cubed it up. And then I put that into the blender with the flour and everything else. After doing that, I'm just going to be pulsing this a few times as well. It was still too dry, so I added some water into it, and then I pulsed it a few more times. You want to make sure that when you pinch it together, it stays together like this. I put some flour onto a clean surface, and I took all of that mixture and put it onto the flour to start to knead it into a pie dough. At this point, it was still really dry, so I did have to add water, and you'll see me doing that in a moment. The key is not to over mix and over water your dough. That's how you are going to keep it flaky, when you don't over mix the pie crust together. So that's why I was so proud of this, is because usually when I would make a pie crust before, I over blended it, and I also put too much water into it, but this came out so much better and so flaky and delicious. Now I'm just forming it into a dough, and it does take some work because you do want the butter to be nice and cold, and you want the water to be cold as well. I then form it into a circular disc. And now I'm going to put some plastic wrap over it and place it into the fridge. I did make this on my work break, so I had a few meetings, so I put it in the fridge longer than I needed to. It only says 30 minutes, and the recipe ended up being like 2 hours. So now I'm here 2 hours later after work, and I am putting on the well-floured surface, the dough, and doing my best to flatten out the dough. It is cold because of the fridge, so it is taking some work to do this. All right, now that that's all done, it's looking like this, and honestly, I think it's beautiful. It really feels like a pie crust, and I'm so proud of it. After doing so, I am putting some butter in this pie pan so that I can place a dough in it. Just using the stick of butter and just lathering it up, placing the dough into the pie pan and doing my best to form it into the circular crevices of the pie pan. Honestly, this was such a satisfying part. It was just so fun to put this into the pie pan and form it into a beautiful pie shape. After I've done that, now I'm just taking a knife with a straight edge and I'm cutting around the pie to give it that perfect circular shape. This honestly is just so therapeutic and it's so amazing. I'm definitely gonna have to try new pie recipes in the future, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Here's what I did with the rest of the pie crust. I just put it into a bag, place it in the fridge, and I'll use it for something else. But now I'm just taking my fingers and crimping the edges to give it that really nice pie shape on the top that you see on like really pretty pies. I didn't look up how to do this, and honestly, next time I will to make it look even better, but I think I did pretty decently for not looking up how to do it. So this is what I did. I just placed my finger between the other two fingers and tried my best to pinch it and make it look nice for dinner. Honestly, I love doing this. I love making my food look beautiful for my husband and I, especially for my husband to enjoy. I think it just shows how much love and care that I put into the food that I make for him, and it's just an act of love for me. And look at how beautiful this turned out. I honestly am so proud of this pie crust. I think it's beautiful. After doing that, I'm going to be putting some holes into the pie crust with my fork, and that is just going to help it not puff up in the oven. Placing it into the oven for 10 minutes now while I get the quiche filling ready. First, I'm going to be cutting up some red peppers and then dicing them really tiny. And then I'm also going to be cutting up some broccoli. And next I'm going to dice up some onion. This was a leftover onion that I had in my fridge, so I'm just dicing this up really tiny as well. And I'm going to start sauteing the onions and the peppers in a little bit of butter. And then after they were sauteing for a moment, I did add the broccoli in, along with seasoning them with salt. And this is what it's looking like after a few minutes before I put it in the quiche. For the quiche recipe, I am using half and half instead of heavy cream because that's just what I had in the fridge. And then I'm adding 4 eggs. It does call for 2 eggs in the recipe that I saw, but I wanted to add more eggs to make it more protein. But next time I'll try 2 eggs and see what it's like. Then adding about a cup of this sharp cheddar cheese. And then I'm adding a couple tablespoons of pesto because I really wanted to have that flavor in there as well. You want to make sure to season this as well. I didn't get that on video. And then I am just adding that into the pan after the pie has been in the oven for 10 minutes. It does say that the veggies should be cooled down, but these weren't cool. I was trying to get this done by the time my husband got home. So I'm just adding these in and quickly mixing them around and then placing it into the oven after I've had them nicely mixed around together. This does go into oven for about 30 to 35 minutes until it is nicely done. And while that's cooking, I'm just taking time to do some cleaning. This is how I like to keep my house nice and orderly, is multitasking, doing dishes while things are in the oven or while, dinner is cooking. This is a great way to be able to save time for yourself and make things not as overwhelming. That way, by the time dinner is done cooking, I can have my dinner dishes basically done, and it just really gives me some peace of mind. I will say recently homemaking has been so much easier because I have made myself a schedule that really works for me with my job as well. It has been such a blessing to be able to get things done and be prepared every single day with a plan. So if you guys want a video on that, definitely let me know in the comments, and I'd love to help you guys be more organized, as it's been such a blessing for me to be more organized and not procrastinate on things around the house. Homemaking is definitely a journey, so any tips or tricks that I can give to you guys that can help you, I am definitely willing to share. After 30 minutes, I did put it back into the oven for another 2 to 3 minutes just to make sure that it was nice and brown like I wanted it. And now this is the final result. It is green because of the pesto, but you guys, the flavor was delicious. I was so proud of the pie crust. It came out so flaky, and this is what it looks like when it is cut into. It is really cheesy and delicious. It has wonderful flavor, and my husband absolutely loved it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this quiche recipe. Thank you guys for watching the video today. If you are interested in more content from me, then please like and comment and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. I do reply to your comments, so definitely leave a comment, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.